Hello and welcome back to the part 6 of my tutorial for writing an iOS app in Python with Kivy. So between part 5 and 6, I went through and I fixed some of these icons here so that they matched what I actually wanted. Um, and in this part 6, I'm going to be working on the settings screen, which I have in the background here. So it should be pretty quick, but then I also want to just fix up a little bit of my layout here because I'm thinking this top section is much too big for what I want, and so is this bottom section, because I kind of want to focus more on this banner than these random things here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Just a quick note, I rearranged some of my icons so that now I have a subfolder for all my avatars, okay, and also a subfolder for all my workouts. And I just fixed the code up a little bit to make sure that now when I'm like loading my avatar, I make sure I include that in there. Okay, but that wasn't anything really big, so I didn't include it in the video. So the first major change I need to do to get the setting screens working is I kind of screwed up my architecture at the start. I really want this top portion to be outside of the screen manager. So when I change screens, I don't want this top portion to change. And what I have right now is this entire screen would change. So let's go to my main.kv file. So here the screen manager is my entire screen, but I want to have that top portion be outside of the screen manager. So I'm going to make a float layout first, and then the screen manager will be inside the float layout. And now I'm going to take the code that made this part, made this section, and I'll bring it right here instead of being in my actual home screen. So that corresponds to, let's see, the weather icons. There's the streak label. Okay, I think these guys. So I'll grab these. I'll take them out of my home screen. And I'll put it in the float layout before my screen manager. Okay, so let's see. Here's my float layout. I'll have my screen manager take up, maybe I'll have it take up 80% of the screen. And then these two rows here would have 20%. So right now they have 30% and they look a little bit too big. So let's work on fixing that. Okay, size hint will be 1, so the entire width of the screen, and 0.8 for 80% of the height. And then position hint, oops, top, that'll be at 0.8, and then left will be 1. Okay, and now this grid layout, well, this has the two top weather icons. I'll have this one be a bit smaller than before. I already have size hint and position hint in here. So I'm going to have it be a fifth of the height instead of a tenth. And then this one will have to start up a little bit more to account for that. And I'll have the size go down to 0.15. That way 15% of the screen plus 5% of the screen gives me 20. And then there's the other 80%. Okay. That looks like it should work. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'll make this, let's see, I want to have like a little line, like a black line down here, right in between, so you can differentiate between the screen and sort of that top area. So maybe I'll have the size hint for my screen manager be just below 0.8, so maybe like 0.799. Then we'll move it down just a little tiny bit. And let's see what happens. Oops. Okay, I got an error when I tried to set the avatar image. So if I go look at that in main.py, here I'm trying to set the avatar image. And it doesn't like it because it doesn't like this home screen ID because the avatar image is now in the main file, not in my home screen file. So I just have to get rid of this because it's no longer in the home screen. Okay, let's try again. Okay, good. those are much smaller, and that's kind of what I wanted. So let me get a blue background on there, and I'm also going to change the size of these images so that they're the same as their little counterparts up here. Okay, so to get the blue, let's look at what I had on my home screen. This canvas is exactly what I want here. Oops. Here we go. So I'll put him, let's see if it'll work, just on my root widget, on my grid layout root widget. Let's run. Okay, that works. Perfect. Actually, no, I don't want that to be blue. What I want to be blue is the background for these rows and the background for the rest of my widgets. And I want the background of the entire root widget to be black. That way, if I leave a little bit of space between the top and the bottom, I'll have blue and then a little black space and then blue again. And I can do that by removing that and putting it instead in this top grid layout. Okay, and then I'll have to do that for this one as well. So now my top grid layout with the two weather icons will be blue. My second top grid layout will be blue. And then I'll have a tiny little black space that is 0.001% of the screen height, or 0.001 of the screen height. And then my home screen, which is showing, is also blue because of this here in my home screen. All right, let's take a look. Bam, a nice tiny little line. Sure, that works for now. Now let's make these guys smaller. So where was that? That was in here. So these two are very small and they're 5% of the height. And now, let's see, this image, I'm going to need to make a little bit smaller. So I think I need a float layout here instead of a grid layout so I can specify the actual sizes of things. So I'll change that to a float layout. Okay, it doesn't, this entire layout doesn't need to change size, but this image along with this one and also this one need to change sizes. So I'll throw in a size hint here. Size hint, I probably want this to be take up a quarter of the screen, the whole widget, quarter of the width, and we'll have it be half the height. And pause hint, we'll put it at the top of the layout widget, so 1, and then right, we'll have this be 0.25. So the 0.25 means put the right edge of my widget at 0.25, and my entire widget is 0.25 in width, so it'll be on the right side. Okay, now this main avatar image, this one will want to be a little bit bigger, so size hint will have 0.5 of the width and the full height. Pause hint will be at the top of my layout and right, and this should be 0.75. This 0.75 comes from my 0.25 here plus 0.5 here. Okay? And now this crescent moon, we'll just want to keep the same image as, or same size as this other sunrise image. So I'll paste that. Except this one has to move over all the way to the right. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, they're a lot smaller. They're not quite the same size as these guys, but I think that's okay, at least for now. And this image hasn't changed. Perfect. So now let me make the rest of my widgets up here take up the whole space. So remember, this area and down from the black line is my entire home screen. So my streak label, this guy, has to come up to the top of the home screen. So let's go back to the home screen KV file. And let's see, 3 menu buttons, streak label. Okay, so right now that's at 0.7. So from here to here, the top of the label is this is 0.7. So let's change that to 1. And then my scroll view can go up to 0.9 because I have 1 minus the 0.1. So 0.9 up here. And then the size, I can really make this a lot bigger. So let's say I want it to be 0.75, so 75% of the screen right here from below the black line. So if that's 0.1 for the streak label and 0.75 for the scrolling feed, then I have 0.15 left over for my menu at the bottom. So that means top should be at 0.15 and the size should be 0.15. Okay, let's try it. Nice. Okay, the scroll feed is much more dominant in here, and that's what I want the app to focus on. So that's a lot better. Okay, now I need to go over to creating the settings screen actually. This will not do. Alright, so back to the settings screen KV file. Let me look back at my design. What did I have? Okay, here's the settings page design. So this top part is okay. I'm going to need my friend ID and also these two buttons to change avatar and add a friend. So I'll start with the friend ID. I can get rid of this button. So I'll start with the float layout. First thing I need is a label for my friend ID. I need to give my label an ID. I'll say friend ID label because I'm going to have to populate that from my first database call. So don't need text in there. We'll give it a size hint, full width, and 1/10 of the height of the screen. Position hint, we'll have it be all the way at the top, and it'll be on the left, or aligned. Now we're going to need my two buttons here. So actually I have to put in a widget for the image and a widget for this label button. So let's do image, and this will be needing a source. So I'll just say icon slash man.png for now. So it'll look in my icons folder. Oh, I need to go inside the avatars folder. So it'll look in icons, avatars, and look for man.png. I think that one's in here. Okay, whatever that one is. All right. And oops, this has to be an image button, right? Because I created that image button class a while back. Here we go. I also have a label button. Okay, it does the same thing as an image, but no image. Instead of an image, you have text because it inherits from label instead of image. Okay, so settings screen, image button. On release, we'll say, we'll just print for now. So change avatar. We'll come back and actually make this open up a new screen to change the avatar in a little bit. Then we need our label button. Text should be change avatar. Okay. On release, we'll just print change avatar as well. Oh, and we have to give these size hints and position hints. Okay, so I'll just copy there, and I'll throw it in, down, I'll throw it at the top. Okay, size hint. This one I want to be a little bit bigger, so maybe 0.2. And we'll have it be down a bit. Let's just try 0.7. We'll see how that works. I'll copy that and put it for my label. My label needs to be at the same height, but it needs to be all the way on the right. So right 1. Actually, I need to change the width here to half. So half the width, and this image has to be half the width as well. That way they're both taking up sort of the same row. So let's see if that works and what it looks like. So I'll go to my settings screen. Okay, yeah, I can live with that, for now at least. So we're going to need a blue background and also my add friend button. And also we're going to need a back button in the lower left. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste all of this stuff. And then we'll just change this to, let's see, what was my add friend image? Add? I don't know. We'll do one of them for now. We can change the image later. Add.png. Okay, on release, add friend. Okay, then my label button needs to say add a friend. And I'll keep the same size, of course, but this one needs to go down a bit. So I'll put it down 0.5. I'll have that down to 0.5. And let's give my screen that background color. So I want it to have the same color from all my other screens, so I'll just copy this canvas. Okay, here I am at the settings screen. There's my canvas. So I'll have that nice blue color. Let's run and see what happens. Ooh, nice. Maybe I'll space those two apart. Uh-oh, why isn't my label showing up? Oh, I don't have any text in there. Let's put some text in there just so we can see it working. Okay, friend ID. Let's go back to my main.py file and update this guy as soon as I get data from Firebase. So here's main.py. Alright, and actually I just remembered we don't have to get anything from the database at the moment because the friend ID is just part of my main app at the moment. So we're not getting that from the database. Okay, but we still want to update it. So get and update friend ID label. Now, just like it did the streak label, it's just going to be the exact same code, except the friend ID label, which is what this guy is from the settings screen, right? So my friend, oh whoops, that should be friend ID label. So my friend ID label is inside my settings screen, and my settings screen is inside my main.kv file, which is self.root. Okay? So friend ID label dot text equals, we'll say friend ID plus string self.myFriendID. Okay. So let's see if that works. We'll run it. Boom, friend ID 1. All right, that works. Okay, so friend ID is good. Those two are good. I think I need a back button now. Maybe I'll get these two a little bit closer together. Well, let's see. If it's on the phone, it might look like that. Yeah, I'll move that text a little bit more center. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so back to settings screen. Let's get one more button, image button. This will be the back button. So let's see, do I have a back button here? Back.png, that sounds right. Okay, source will be icon/back.png. Let's have it be a little bit smaller than the other image buttons. So size hint, maybe 0.15. Size hint 0.5. Let's see what that looks like. Top will be 0.2 maybe, and right 0.25. Let's see what that looks like. Sometimes you just have to play with these things because it's hard to really think about what it would look like. Okay, well clearly that's not going to work for me, so I'll just move it a little bit more to the right, and let's see what happens. Okay, too much. Let me change this size hint from, so instead of that little widget taking up half the screen, I'll have it be 20% of the screen, and I'll put it over 30%. Okay, maybe over 20%. Sure. Let's go back to 30 or 25. We'll split the difference. Okay, and then finally, in my label buttons, I want the text to go over to the left. I think I can probably just change the size a little bit. So instead of taking up half the width, maybe I'll do a third, and I'll put it at 0.8. Let's see what that looks like. That's a bit better. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'll do the same for the other one. I'll just copy paste those, and I'll make sure to change this top to 0.7 again. And run. Nice. Okay, so if I click that, then I click that, let's go see if it printed out. Change avatar, change avatar. That's supposed to say add friend. Alright. Okay, change avatar, add friend, add friend. That's what I'm expecting to be printed. Perfect. Alright, things are up and running. My settings screen is good. I'll get these two screens in another video. Thanks for watching.